Hey guys, welcome back to SCG Collects. I'm Annie. Hey guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of my review of Wonfest. So in part 1, we covered a lot of manufacturers, Wings Inc., Union Creative, all that good stuff. So in part 2, I'm going to finish up with the rest of the manufacturers that I didn't talk about last time. And again, as I said in the first video, I am not talking about any sort of NSFW 18 plus, simply just because, you know, this is a YouTube video and I don't want to get in trouble for any of that. So none of that stuff, any of those manufacturers, any action figure stuff, garage kit stuff, other stuff that isn't figures is not going to be covered here. So yeah, that is basically what part 2 is going to be. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so the main stuff that we're covering in this video is going to be all of the manufacturers, producers, all of that were sort of under the umbrella of the AmiAmi Hobby Camp at Wonfest. So AmiAmi Hobby Camp was a booth displaying figures from many different manufacturers. I don't know the reason why they did this. I just know that that's how it was being done, and that's what the AmiAmi Hobby Camp booth was an umbrella term for a whole bunch of manufacturers. So the first few figures here are from AmiAmi themselves. So first couple we've got pulled up here are 1/8 scale figures of Ichinose Shiki and Ninomiya Asuka from the Idolmaster Cinderella Girls. I only have a vague idea of what the Idolmaster is. I don't know what Cinderella Girls is in reference to the Idolmaster. But I just think these designs are interesting. Like, it looks like their skirts are made of feathers, I think. I don't know if there's like original artwork this is being based off of. But the feather skirts really caught my eye. That's interesting to me. I think these could be really cool once they're colored, depending on how the coloring is done and how they choose to handle these, I guess, feathers. Since what I do know about Idolmaster, as I was saying, it's something that doesn't really interest me. And so I don't know that I would buy these two, and I don't know that I like the designs enough to buy them regardless. I'm just more curious in how they're going to turn out with coloring. So might keep track of them just for that, but definitely not something, or probably not something that's going to end up in my collection. But still cute designs. I still like them, so yeah. Next from AmiAmi is a 1/7 scale figure of Formidable, the Lady of the Beach version, from Azur Lane. I think what really caught me first was the hair buns. I just think they're adorable. And then also the fact that there's like the long hair as well. It's not just all her hair is like wrapped up in these buns. It looks like there's a big long braid. And, you know, I don't know how they would be able to do this full scene with all the animals and everything as a figure. But even if it's just her, I do really like this, and I'm excited to see how this turns out as a prototype. So I definitely want to keep track of this one, and depending on how it turns out, as I mentioned in the first half of all of this, Azur Lane is one of those things that for whatever reason I super love. I love a lot of the character designs, so I might look into buying this one. Moving on to Anigift. Really only one figure here, and that is the one figure that I was interested in, I guess I should say. And that is this 1/7 scale figure of Sword Maiden from Goblin Slayer. I really enjoyed the Goblin Slayer anime. I don't fully remember this character in there. Um, that's kind of embarrassing to say. But I do really like this design, and I like kind of the shout out or similarities to like the idea of like Lady Justice that you see in, I guess, classical artwork or whatever, where she has the scales and she's blindfolded because justice is supposed to be blind and fair and all that stuff, equal. um, but yeah, I really really like this one, and I hope this is available soon, because I know she looks very similar to I want to say Priestess. Um, and I know there was a Priestess figure recently that I sort of missed out on, and I haven't, taken the opportunity to purchase for myself yet. So maybe this will kind of fill that gap for me, if you will. All right, now we have Anigame with Anigift together. So this is 1/7 scale figure Chen Hai, Vestibule of Wonders from Azur Lane. Um, checking off a lot of the boxes here. Azur Lane, China dress style, all of that. It is a rather, very, I don't want to say boring figure, but very kind of plain, since she is just kind of standing there. So hopefully when this is released, it doesn't suffer from, I think, what all of us have been seeing lately of even basic 1/7 scale figures and their prices being just so inflated, even when it's something like this where, just a basic pose. But I really want to see the colors for this one. I don't know how they could mess up the colors for this. I suppose it's possible. And hopefully it's a good price, because I do like this one a lot. Next, under the AmiAmi Hobby Camp umbrella, we have the Apex Toys announcements. So this right here is an announcement for 3 Princess Connect RE Dive figures that kind of go together to form one piece, sort of. So you have the 1/7 scale figure of Carol, the 1/7 scale figure of Pecorine, and the 1/7 scale of Kokoro. I have not played Princess Connect, but this is another one of those things where I keep seeing a lot of figures coming out, a lot of merchandise and bits for it, and the character designs seem really cool. I do like this idea of it's 3 separate figures, but they kind of go together. And I think I saw the artwork that this is based on, and it was, one scene. I don't know, at least for me personally, that I would buy all 3, but then I'd feel really weird because all 3 are supposed to go together. So I don't know. I don't know how other people are going to handle this, if they'll just buy the one they like the most. If they have, say, a favorite of these 3 characters, if they'll feel obligated to buy all 3 to sort of complete the set. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how people handle these and, make decisions on how to sort of own them once they're released and everything. Next we have, again from Apex Toys, another figure that I'm very, very excited about. So this is a 1/7 scale figure of Chen Ageless Afterglow from Arknights. So Arknights I am very, very little familiar with. I did start playing it a little bit. I barely scratched the surface of the game though. Again, another game I feel like has a lot of really cool character designs, and this figure, if this is the full thing they're putting out the whole background. They've got the dragon, they've got the branches, all of that together. This will probably be another instant pre-order for me. The other big thing, I mean, in addition to, hello, it's another girl in a China dress, and she's got the cute hair buns, another dragon girl. If you watched part one, there was a figure, I forget the company, that was a dragon girl. And she was much more like combat styled, I guess you might say, whereas, you know, obviously this is a girl, a woman who is styled in a more, you know, fancy, relaxed way. But I mean, oh my god, two dragon girls being announced at the same festival. Like, you know, again, I feel like there aren't many dragon girl figures, um, unless we're talking about Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, but that's its own thing. So this, I think this is very exciting. This is, you know, Dragon Girls are finally getting some recognition. And I didn't know I needed Dragon Girls in my life, but I guess I do. And so I'm very excited to see this direction happening. All right, so next up, we have, yet again, more Azur Lane figures. So first, from Apex Toys again, we've got 1/7 scale figure Amagi Wending Waters Serene Lotus version. So this is obviously just an announcement that they want to make this figure. We don't have a prototype or anything yet. I am very intrigued. I'm very interested to see how this is going to be done, because there is just so much going on here in terms of the background and the environment. I'm just so interested to see how much of this is going to be kept in the figure and how they can even keep a lot of this in the figure. Even if it just ends up being her, I'd be totally fine with that, because I think she's just beautiful on her own. But I want to keep watch on this just to see how they are going to translate this artwork into a figure. And also, too, if they keep a bunch of that stuff, like how big is this going to end up being, and how much is it going to cost? So a lot of questions on this one. I am intrigued. I want to know more. They really hooked me. So going along again, I said there were a couple of Azur Lane figures. So there has also been an announcement for a 1/7 scale figure of Shukaku, the crane that dances with the wind version. So again, if you watched my first video, you know that I, for whatever reason, have an interest in like ballerina figures. This obviously has somewhat of a ballerina style. She's got her point shoes on, dancing. So this is another one I'm going to be interested to see how they handle. You know, are the cranes going to be in there? Are they going to somehow try to do like these autumn leaves blowing by, which I don't even know how they could do that in a way that looks decent and doesn't look like a weird like plastic disc around her. But again, even if it's just her doing her little dancey dance, this again might be one that I go after, just, you know, because I need more ballerina figures and I think she's gorgeous. So there you go. Next Azur Lane figure, this time under the Broccoli manufacturer, or under the manufacturer Broccoli, is a 1/7 scale Massachusetts Dress to Impress figure. Yet again, looks like this is potentially going to be a gorgeous figure. I'm very excited to see how they do this. You know, how much of this backdrop are they going to keep? How much of the detail are they going to put into it? Again, even if it is just the woman, I think she's gorgeous on her own. I don't know that this whole scene is needed for her to be a stunning figure, but I definitely think having it all there really is going to add a lot if they're able to do that. So yet another one to keep track of and see how they're going to translate this from just this artwork into that full, you know, 3D figure. All right, now we have Hobby Sakura, the manufacturer. and a couple of what I believe are kind of original artwork, maybe original characters. So the first one we have is, well, I'm not sure what that says. So this girl kind of reclining on a bench. Looks like she's wearing a pretty flowy dress. We have the artwork here. So I think this has the potential to be absolutely gorgeous. I mean, already I feel like the prototype's doing a pretty good job, at least with the flow of the dress and everything. These colors look amazing, like this rich red with the hint of black and some gold trim, all of that. So I'm really, really excited to see how they translate those colors here and get all the details on there, and also how they're gonna do the face, because I know the face of a figure can really make or break it too, how they end up doing that. The other original character, original art that Hobby Sakura seems or is going to be putting out is the Lamplight Demon Girl. So yet again, we have a pretty basic prototype, you know, no face or anything like that, but we do have the original artwork. I think the artwork is adorable. I really love, you know, kind of a witchy aesthetic. So I really like this. I'm not too sure on how they have kind of done the ribbon thing. Like, I guess in my mind, I see this as some kind of weird, like, magical light beam. Maybe it's supposed to be a ribbon. And if it is supposed to be a ribbon, then I suppose this is fine, I guess. Otherwise, if it's supposed to be, you know, some kind of light beam, then maybe not so fine. Maybe having this colored, it'll help it make more sense. I mean, I don't think it's terrible enough that I would say, like, oh my gosh, I would never think of buying this. But I definitely want to see with color to see how this ends up turning out. Because I think that could help make a difference. Definitely. Moving on to BeBox. I know that this is a relatively newer, I think relatively newer manufacturer just within the last couple of years, but they've been announcing some really interesting figures. So this is a 1/6 scale Roro Hoshi-chan. I don't know if that's a character from something. Regardless, I remember seeing the original artwork for this kind of alongside this prototype. And the artwork really sold me on it. If they follow the color palette for the artwork, I think this is going to be very, very good. The girl is supposed to be, at least from what the artwork looks like, a darker skin tone. Of course, we always need more figures in different skin tones, so that's very exciting to see. And I just think this is interesting. I mean, it's a girl sitting in a martini glass. You know, what's she doing in a martini glass? How is she fitting in a martini glass? I'm sure we won't get those answers, but regardless, I love it. I'm excited to see the paint job and you know, crossing my fingers that they follow the artwork, and that we get something very comparable to that. So very, very unique figure. I like it. All right, now we have Lemoe figure. Again, another maybe new manufacturer. Not sure I've ever heard of them. So this is called the 1/7 scale Cat's Eye Girl, and it looks like it's based on some artwork by an artist named Frang. I'm not sure what the artwork looks like. I don't know that I've seen anything with this figure next to the artwork like I have some of the rest. I think this is a nice design. Again, it's a pretty basic pose, so hopefully this isn't a very expensive figure. But even if it is, maybe that can be somewhat excused. It does look very detailed. You know, these ruffles look really nice. And then I don't know, again, if this is like feathers or just even more roughly texture to the dress. But so far the sculpt looks pretty good. I can't wait to see what the color palette might be. And I also love the fact, I'm guessing she's walking with some sort of staff or cane. I mean, that's pretty cool. You don't see that very often. So definitely one to keep on the radar, see how this turns out. All right, final figure for this video. Wrapping it up with the manufacturer Pony Canyon. And what do you know? An Azur Lane figure. Surprise, surprise. So this is a 1/7 scale figure, Noshiro. I really like her design. You know, she's got the sailor outfit going on. Looks like she's got some Oni horns, you know, devil horns. Almost looks like she has a samurai sword along with her boat parts. And there's like samurai swords on the boat. I mean, so much going on there. But I think it's a beautiful figure. I like her facial expression. I like her pose. Um, you know, paint job, at least from this prototype, looks really good. So I'm excited to see her released, and I will probably buy this one. I don't know. I just apparently love boat girls. I don't know, guys. I don't know what's going on. But yes, very pretty figure, and you know, nice to see a nice painted prototype there. All right, so that brings us to the end of part 2. I think at this point, I've basically covered a majority of the manufacturers that announced, you know, figures and are not NSFW. You know, again, both part 1 and part 2, these are just figures that I found interesting. I know there was a lot more announced even just in the figure space that obviously I didn't cover here. But, you know, if I tried to cover everything, I'd either have a 45-part series on Summer Wonfest 2022, or I'd have like a 10-hour video. That might be a slight exaggeration, but it would be a lot. So, you know, let me know if any of the figures in this video are ones that you're excited for, or if there are other things that you're excited for, other things that you wish that I would have covered. You know, leave some comments below on all of this. And with, I believe, Good Smile summer announcements coming up, be on the lookout for that video. I will try to get that out more close to when Good Smile actually does their announcements, because I know it's been now a week since Wonfest happened, and I'm sure everybody's already tired of hearing about Wonfest. So I'm late to the game here, but I'm still figuring it out, and when Good Smile happens in the coming week, I'm gonna hit the ground running and get a video up much quicker. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Again, comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really helps the channel out. And I'll see you next time. Bye.